Just let me know, Billy.
Good to go.
We're all set?
Yes.
Okay, we're all set, everyone.
Video on?
Yeah, mine says it won't, Jay.
You're on, Jay. We see
I'm
you.
on, but I'm not seeing John Brown or Ryan or Sue or Rose.
You should just be able to click on the video in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen.
I gotta get my IT guy here first.
Down here, there's a spot. See the stop video?
Yeah.
And the mute?
Hey, John, can you get video on here?
Whoever's speaking, come up.
No, I just have audio.
There we go. There's John.
Oh, how about that, huh?
All right, there he is.
Voila.
Okay, good evening, everybody. I'd like to welcome all to a regularly scheduled meeting of the Town of Montgomery Planning Board for May 11th, 2020. I'd like to take roll of the board. Rose Pennings, you there?
Here,
John Brown?
Yes, sir. Hello.
Ryan McGuire?
Present.
Jay Beaumont?
Here.
Okay, and Rich Montemarano's in the house? Present. And Fred Reichel's here, so we have a quorum. We have 6 members, 1 vacancy. I have a couple of announcements. Our next meeting is on a Tuesday. Our next regularly scheduled meeting is Tuesday, May 26th, which is the day after Memorial Day. I just wanted to throw that out there. And what I wanted to do also is to tell the public, if you can hear me and maybe can't see, that this meeting is live streamed and it's available for viewing at the following sites. It's acquisitionsmarketing.com and it's facebook.com Town of Montgomery official website. So there's 2 different ways that you can view this meeting. And we have no hearings tonight. That's why we're using that format. Okay, we'll start with, we have a couple of presentations. Both will be done by Ross Winglevitz from Engineering Properties. The first one is for Butler Construction Group, Inc. It's on Dunn Road and New York State Route 211. SEU permit and site plan, and this is an initial presentation of the plan, of the sketch plan. So with that being said, Ross, I'll let you take it away and give us some background.
Good evening. For the record, Ross Winklevitz, Engineering and Surveying Properties here on behalf of Butler Construction. As Fred said, this is an application for a contractor's office and storage building. The site is located on Dunn Road, just west of 211. Dunn Road is the access to the airport, Orange County Airport.
Is that better? They can't hear you.
Oh, can't hear. Is that live?
If you could bring the easel closer.
Okay.
Maybe.
No, because he's got that camera on.
Yeah.
Focus.
Just
I guess his microphone down there is
Do you have anybody online that's on Zoom to screen share these?
no.
That's the closest that we're gonna be able to get. Is that good enough for the board? If not, then we'll just rearrange the
Well,
camera angles.
board, can you see the plan? Well, why don't you bring it right up close if you want, Ross?
Yeah, bring it, whatever you gotta do to
Like
get to
3
them is
feet
fine.
away from the nose to the back. Let us know when you can see it.
That's as close as we can get it. Closer if you want.
Here, let's do this. So we can separate. Give me the plan. How's that?
What-
Got it? Rich, you got it the other way. Thank you.
So if I do it from there,
It's okay with me. Fred, you gotta let me, share the screen.
Oh, you're gonna be able to do that, Andrew?
yeah,
Yeah, if you, oh, there we go, share screen. There you go.
I can't get a public camera angle with it like that, so.
yeah, he's sharing the screen so that they can see.
So the board can see it.
Okay. So we'll go back to where we were.
So we don't need this then? Well, we'll need it for sound.
No, well, he can talk into the microphone.
Okay. Sorry about that, everybody.
This mic is hooked up to that, everybody there?
Yes.
All right, we'll start this again. Whoa, a little loud. Good evening, Ross Spenglevitz with Engineering and Surveying Properties here on behalf of Butler Construction. Butler is proposing the construction of a 30,000 square foot contractor's office and storage yard on Dunn Road. Dunn Road is the road that services Orange County Airport. It's just west of 211. The site is actually kind of hidden. You got to get into the airport property, and just as you were about to turn into the fixed base operations there, you would actually turn to the right to get to this property. The site is 11 acres. The applicant is proposing the construction of a 30,000 square foot building. Building will house office operations for Butler Construction, as well as have bays in the rear for maintenance of equipment and storage of materials in the building. There are 30 parking spots out front. Those parking spots are primarily for the employees of the building. There's an additional gravel parking area to the east side. That parking area will be used for employees that will be coming to the site, picking up construction vehicles such as trucks, and heading out to the job site. There is a large yard as part of this operation. That yard will be used for the storage of vehicles and equipment and materials associated with the construction site. Sometimes they'll be staging materials there that'll need to go to the construction site, but mostly for equipment that may be going from one job to another or maybe idle for one reason or another. We did receive the comments from the town's consultants. Be glad to discuss any that you might want to specifically. I would say there's one primary comment, and it showed up on Bonnie's review, but it was something that we were made aware of earlier this week, and it's regarding the use. So the plan had indicated this was a contractor storage and equipment yard, and I think that's incorrect, as Bonnie notes. So that is just, in my opinion, just an open yard. There's no building attached to that use. What we're proposing is the contractor's office and storage, which is a building for contractor's office area with indoor storage of material and supplies. We view the outdoor yard as accessory, and we think that that's permitted under the code, under your site plan review ordinance, that we can have on-site improvements that are accessory to the main use, as long as they are identified and approved by the planning board as part of the site plan application. And I think that's the threshold issue we want to get clarification on tonight, to make sure that we're headed in the right direction, or if we need to get any kind of interpretation from the rest of the board, or from the ZBA. Be glad to answer any comments.
All right, if anybody has comments, please just chime in, I guess. Just call out your name and so we have it for the record.
Couldn't hear that, Fred, if you could repeat it.
Okay.
So the definitions in the code define two uses, contractor's storage and or equipment yards. And contractor's office and storage, which is allowed within the zoning district, is defined as buildings designed for a contractor's office area with indoor storage of materials and supplies and vehicles, including servicing of the contractor's vehicles. So I think in particular, the salient word in that definition is indoor. Contractor storage and or equipment yards is not allowed in this zone. And it is defined as outdoor storage areas for vehicles, equipment, and materials used by a contractor in the conduct of his business. So, I mean, this is a fundamental question, which is whether this use is in fact allowed, because there's a very large storage yard proposed. It's outside. Ross, I don't know if you want to repeat what was going to be stored outside.
Yeah, it's vehicles and equipment associated with the contractor's office. So they move vehicles to different sites, depending on what job site they're working on, trucks in the yard. This is, will be the relocation of the Butler construction that exists currently at the corner of 416 on 211. So they've been moving their operations here. So a lot of what you see stored out there will be stored in that yard in a fenced area. So we think that that is accessory to what the building is. The building is the primary use. It's the contractor's office and storage. It's the building with office area, indoor storage of supplies and vehicles. We believe the outdoor is accessory, and I think it's specifically permitted as long as it's approved under site plan review by the planning board, the outdoor storage.
Okay.
Ross, what's the total area of the building versus the total area of the yard?
30,000 square feet is the building, and the whole parcel is 11 acres.
The lot area is, yeah, like, right, and you're using probably
7, 8.
Just under an acre.
7 or 8 for storage, or for the outdoor equipment storage.
Proposed lot area is 479,708 square feet.
Yeah, and with the stormwater management and the buffer, and then the building and the paved parking area and driveway, yeah, it looks like there's quite a bit of area that's just for the equipment storage. So compared to the building, it's quite a bit more than what the building is.
It's not, I mean, not dissimilar to a lot of uses where you have larger parking areas and loading dock areas than you actually have building area. Storm King construction right down the road is the exact same uses the applicant is proposing. That was converted to a lumber yard several years ago.
Right,
So that,
brushes, yeah.
yeah, that would seem to be similar use. It must have been favorably found by the board at that point.
Is that the same zoning district?
Yes.
I'm not familiar with that, so.
Okay.
Okay.
Was
At
this,
the corner of the 460.
Right, I know where the building is. I just wasn't familiar with if it had been upgraded or when it was approved, what it was approved as, just to clarify.
Yeah, Rich Hoyt here. Ross, isn't the Storm King in the ID zone?
I looked at it today, it's both in the I-1.
My zoning map, everything south of 84 is ID.
Not the map I looked at today, but I'll believe
Okay.
you if you're looking at it now.
And Ross, I'm having a real problem hearing what you're saying. I know it's not your fault.
Is it too loud, Rich, or?
I'm sorry, I can't
Can't
hear
hear
you.
Ross either.
I don't know if it's too loud or too quiet.
Too quiet.
Okay.
It's just picking.
it's picking up my computer is all it's picking up. Right.
Yeah, I'm looking at the zoning map right now, which I can share, and Storm King appears to be in the ID zone.
ID or
ID.
ID?
ID, as in
Yes.
David.
This was Marcinak's yard, correct? That yard, Artie
Correct.
Marcinak's, they're moving here,
Right.
whoever's running that
Currently,
now.
he's using Marcinak's yard yet.
And this is just for machinery. It's not going to be piles of dirt and stone, or it could be.
No, it could be pipe or stuff like that, but it's not, they wouldn't be delivering it twice. If they could all help.
Right, right. Yeah, I think the thing is they're using basically whatever's left on the property they don't need for, that isn't required for stormwater management driveway, all right up to the buffer. I mean, to the side yard and the rear yard, the buffer, the 50-foot buffer. It's not quite the yards, but.
And I think that, we don't actually have a buffer here, so we.
Okay. It's the rear yard setback.
A voluntary buffer we that we're showing.
Okay. Did everybody hear that?
No.
It's what's shown on the two side yards is, it says it's a buffer. And
For the yard itself.
it's a voluntary buffer. It's not actually what's required.
So Bonnie noted that in her comments.
Was noted in Bonnie's comments.
So this will be graded so that is actually that kind of an embankment where that buffer is. So this will totally be not visible to anybody, but maybe the airport. Obviously help the sound attenuation as well.
I think the bigger question here this evening with this plan is, does it conform to the zoning?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, Rich.
Montemorano, should we ask Walt Schmidt for a determination?
You hadn't been to Walt.
Have not been to Walt yet.
And I had a second comment.
All right.
I don't recall what the number is, but I know that there is a certain setback from one municipality to the next, and one of the property lines is between the village and the town. And I just don't remember in the code what that number is.
I didn't find any. I didn't see that Bonnie noted any. That the would be the easterly property line.
Yeah.
Is the village line.
Okay. And to the north, it's still town, correct?
I mean, one of the comments that I had made was that it would be useful, whether this is referred to Walter, if the planning board wants to further deliberate on this, but if there was a project narrative that details what's occurring on the site indoors and outdoors, in writing,
Yeah.
it might help. And ultimately, if it does go to Walter, he should be aware also, and have a narrative of what's proposed.
I
But,
think
you
that
know,
makes sense.
yeah,
That makes sense to me as well, Fred. What Bonnie's saying makes a lot of sense to me. If we can get a complete narrative and get that also sent to Walter, if everyone else agrees.
Yeah, if we decide that's the route we're going to take, but I think that's been, you know, the whole site's being used, and we wanted to, we're not quite sure what, until tonight, we're not quite sure what this is going to be, and the narrative will pin that down more clearly. Does that make sense?
It certainly does to me, yes.
Okay,
Fred,
yes.
is this going to go to Walt or does this go to FAR?
It will go to Walt, I believe, but I think that, let's get a narrative first, and then we'll determine
Okay.
the next step. Everybody okay with that?
Yes.
Rich Hoyt, I think it's a great idea. I might point out accessory use definition is subordinate use. So the question is the yard subordinate to the building, or is the building subordinate to the yard?
Okay.
I think, you know, another way to look at it when I'm thinking about accessory uses is, could the yard exist without the building, or the building exist without the yard? So in other words, if the principal use is the office and storage, could it do without the accessory outdoor equipment storage? So sort of what's the principal use? What's the primary
Right.
use?
Agreed.
Yes. Okay. I guess we're good.
So we're gonna get a narrative.
Yes.
And pass it on to Walt.
Let's get the narrative, and we'll read it and discuss it. And then, I guess we'll know then. And if it does go to Walt, then he'll have it, and he'll have an idea of what's going on.
Right, so next step is narrative, then we determine whether we should go to Walt or not, right?
I think that makes sense, doesn't it, board?
Makes perfect sense to me.
Okay. Okay, very good.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ross.
Thank you, Ross.
Okay. Next this evening, we've got Gotchier Country Club. It's a lot line change. Rich Hoyt is recused on this project.
We didn't have a review, Fred.
Okay, thanks, Andrew. Now let's see, how are we going to be able to view this? Because Andrew won't be able to put it on his screen, correct?
Yeah, that's right. I don't have that plan.
Okay. Ross, could you bring that closer, maybe? The easel with it? Maybe we'll be able to see it. I'll turn my computer.
If somebody has it digital, I'll be glad to put it up. If you want to email it to me.
Sue, do we have that digital copy anywhere?
I think we sent it to Sue when we submitted it.
Yeah, I have it. I have to find it.
If you could find it, maybe you could send it to Andy.
Yeah,
I will.
if you
Yeah,
email it.
I'm
Okay.
working on it.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't have a copy of it, although I did a review. I have the hard
I
copy.
emailed it around to everybody, but I'll look for it. I know I have it.
Okay.
Well, while that's being done, do we want to do some of the minutes?
Sure.
Because we've got 7 of them. So the first group of minutes that we could adopt are the May 29th of 2018 Planning Board meeting minutes. Did anybody have any significant comments, anything of substance for that?
passed mine on to Sue.
Okay. Do you remember if they were, if there was a lot to them, Rose, or they were just,
Minor,
okay,
minor.
all right. I'll entertain a motion to approve the May 29th, 2018 Planning Board meeting minutes. Motion by Jay, seconded by Rose. Any discussion?
Fred, I'm gonna have to abstain. I don't think I was here.
Okay, right, yeah. Yeah, that's right.
You're right, you weren't.
Okay,
Fred, I have that, if you want to go back to the plan, I have it on my screen right now.
okay, well, let's finish up the May 29th minutes if we could, quickly. All right, Rose, how do you vote?
Aye.
Jay?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Rich?
Aye.
And I'm an aye, so we've got 5 ayes.
Fred,
Yes, Rose?
on the May 29th, 2018, present was Fred Reichel, Jay Beaumont, Rose Pennings, Bill Kelly, Rich Montemorano, and 1 vacancy.
So
So John Brown can't vote.
John
Oh, that's
can't.
right. Yes. Yeah, I come in June. Sorry. Thank you.
Okay,
No,
so we
no.
have 4 ayes. Thanks, Rose.
Yep.
So, motion by Jay. Second, Rose. So we have 4 ayes, and 1 vacancy and 3 vacancies then. Okay. Motion carried then for the May 29th Planning Board meeting minutes. Okay, if you wanted to share that with us, Andrew, we can get to Gotchier.
Okay. Give me a minute, and that should do it. I feel like I'm getting good at this. Not that I want to.
Okay. All right, you're up, Ross. Thank you.
Good evening. For the record, Ross Windowitz with Engineering and Surveying Properties, here on behalf of Gotchier Country Club for a proposed lot line change. Gotchier Country Club is a private entity that owns these 2 parcels of land on the either side of Gotchier Drive. One contains the clubhouse, the other across Gotchier Drive on the east side contains an open field and a rec area with some recreational amenities. The country club members are the members in the subdivision. They have decided that they would like to sell the open field area for a residential lot. They've asked us to prepare a plan for a lot line change between the 2 lots, the lot containing the clubhouse and the kind of recreational parcel that is open space right now. That lot line change would take 2 odd-shaped parcels, I would say, from the piece on the east and add them to the clubhouse parcel. They use the area north of the house. A lot of the residents use that as a wooded area. They use that to dump leaves and twigs as part of their spring cleanup. So they want to maintain that by the country club so that they can continue to use that area. And the area to the south of the country club, that area as well is used by residents and also contains the mailboxes. And they would like to retain that as well, leaving what we have a new tax lot 38-2-9, which would be about a 2-acre parcel that would be proposed for a single family residence with a well and septic. There is no public water here. All residents are served by well and septic. The roads here are private. They are maintained by the Gotchier Country Club. So that was a question that Bonnie had. There is no HOA. The country club is actually a country club. I assume it's some kind of non-for-profit. organization that was formed back when they created the subdivision. In fact, the original parent parcel was deeded to the country club. Once this is perfected, they would be looking to sell a lot to raise funds for the country. Be glad to answer any questions you might have.
Soils are good on this, Ross?
Soils map show good soils. We have to do the testing yet.
You haven't done it yet. Well,
Pittsfield loan.
in its existing lot as it is today, I mean, existing tax lot.
Correct.
So somebody could just pull a permit now if they
Yes,
met
if
the
they want
criteria
the lot line change, they could actually just take that tax lot,
and sell the whole thing.
sell the whole thing.
Yeah, yeah. Now Gotchier Drive is private,
Private road, yeah.
okay? And this is a 2-acre zoning. I would assume that the lot meets the town's criteria for a lot, as
Yeah.
far as the box.
We meet the area. I know Bonnie had gone through that whole
Okay, all
list
right.
that we had for the subdivision. We'll go through it, but I don't think this is a very level property.
Right.
I think we can meet all those criteria without problem.
Okay. Anyone else? Any questions on Gotchier?
Mr. Chairman, I'm
Yes.
still not 100% clear. So the two parcels, one on the east side of Gotcher and the one on the south of Gotcher, the other one, the tiny one, those are going to be joined to the larger parcel and then broken off into one
Correct.
residential lot?
Yeah, so we would have to file a deed that would combine the parcel here on the north end and that triangular shaped piece in the south to the clubhouse parcel.
So the new residential lot, when it's broken off from the whole larger parcel, as the next step, would be two isolated sections?
New residential parcel would be one tax lot, and then the clubhouse would be one tax lot, and that would just be on two sides of the private drive.
They're hooking them.
Great.
I
So now-
get that, what I'm saying is that and that going to be one residential parcel,
No,
No, they're going to be tied to the one across the street.
right? I get that.
They're hooked across.
I
So
get
now you're
that.
going to have a deed that will include everything.
I get that.
So that they can't be, they're not a separate tax lot and they would not be a residential building lot because they are already tied to the one across the street.
To sell the one on the east side of Gotcher as a residential lot, is that the intention down the
The
road?
intention is this one with that show the house.
Okay,
See this?
the lot with the house that's remaining, the remaining tax lot there, 3829 would be the only residential parcel. Those two other acreage parcels would be then connected across Gotchier.
so there's no intention of building anything?
No,
on those open
no intention of building anything on those parcels. They become part of the clubhouse.
Okay,
Yeah, is that the like the ball field or something that they
Yeah.
have now?
Yeah, it's like
Okay.
an open rec field.
Okay. And then there's a little chapel across the street too, I guess, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And the
Yep.
clubhouse. Okay. Anyone else on Gotchier?
Ross, my comment has to do with showing wetlands on that triangular parcel and the stream.
Yeah, so what Bonnie's concern is there's wetlands, potential wetlands here, in this little triangular parcel. Bonnie, we're not proposing any construction anywhere near there, so we would, I guess, ask for a waiver from having to delineate that.
I think it's more just to have a rough boundary of where it is, because while it may not extend, well, I guess the question is it subject to, there's in the subdivision regulations, buffers and setbacks from streams and from, particular features. 100 feet from a stream, There's not supposed to be any structures or buildings, and then 50 feet from intermittent streams. So, you know, if you could just provide proof that even if you consider whatever the limits are of the wetlands being, you know, not being conservative, to make sure that you're meeting those requirements.
We could approximate and I
Yeah.
think and we can demonstrate that we're far enough away that it's not.
I don't think we're looking for a delineation by a biologist, just a field location of it so we can put it on the map.
Yep.
Does that make sense, Bonnie?
Yeah, so we know that they're meeting, you know, the requirements for setbacks.
Yep.
And then Andrew, I would just note, I think you said the mailboxes may be on the triangular piece, but they're actually in the private right of way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
not the right location, exactly.
and the only thing about the triangular piece and people, you know, I don't know if there's bamboo growing there. But in general, you have, and this is something for Andrew to take a look at. There's a catch basin. It goes underneath the road, and then it looks like it's supposed to be draining toward the stream. But because of the grass clippings or whatever's happening over there, I think it's kind of blocking it off. And so I think just as a matter of practice, you know,
right,
it should probably be looked into. And Ross, right now there's I guess it's a trash storage building that's on Gotchier.
Yeah.
So that's going to stay in its location. It's going to stay in front of the new house. It's not going to be relocated, right?
Correct.
Okay. All right. And you otherwise have my comments.
I would have your comments. Yeah, I was going to bring up that wetlands to see how you wanted to handle that, so that's good. The goalpost, I don't know what condition that's in. If it's in any kind of condition, I would prefer to leave it because the future owner may want it. Let that be between the two private property owners.
Okay.
It's a nice field there. They have a soccer star in their family. Ball star or whatever. The rest of the criteria, I think we can meet. We'll demonstrate that in our response.
Okay.
Okay.
And then the only other thing is maybe a note, if we're not going to do mapping or we're going to do approximations, is that stream, if you look at the environmental resource mapper, is designated, I think, AA, because it's, I guess, tributary to a water supply. And so DEC, if anything's proposed within 50 feet of it, you might need a protection of waters permit. So just as maybe a map note, we could put something to that effect about recognizing it's an AA stream.
We'll label it on the plan, yeah, and provide it up to that effect.
Okay.
Okay. Anyone with anything else on Gotchier?
I had one more question, Mr.
Sure.
Chairman, Rich Montemorano. Why isn't the property lines coming up to Gotchier Road? Why are they set back, and what's with that? You know, that piece of the long strip of land in between the lot lines and the road,
Mm-hmm.
that intended to be attached to something at some point?
No, that's all the old right of way, Rich. We don't know who the owner is. It's not shown as public right of way. It's not shown as owned by Gotchier Country Club. They in fact do maintain all those roads. So where it does cross out of the right of way, it crosses onto the country club's property. So at least it's their responsibility to maintain it. So therefore, it's ownership issues.
Is it paved or
Paved, yeah.
wooded? So the whole area in between the lot lines is paved.
Oh, between the pavement and our lot line at the front is all grass area.
Okay.
Yeah, there's some large trees that Bonnie noted. We'll show to make sure we avoid it, and it's all grass.
All right. Thank you. Not understanding that.
Thanks, Rich. Okay. Anything else, anyone?
Bonnie, it's Andrew. If you could just identify that drain that you were speaking about, I'll take a look at it.
Okay, yeah, it's the drain itself, where it outlets is within Gotchier Drive. Can you zoom in on?
If you could just put a circle on the plan, take a picture of it with a camera and just send it to me, that'd be great.
Okay, I'll do that.
Super. All right. And I'll save this plan for myself.
Okay.
All right, great.
Actually, could you send that to me, Andrew, and then I can circle it on the plan?
Sure.
Thanks.
Okay. Anybody, any other questions or comments on Gotchier?
Mr. Chairman, I believe this is a lot line adjustment,
Yes,
a lot line change.
yes.
So they are, lot line changes, adjustments are exempt from seeker. So I don't know if you normally do a resolution or just make a motion to indicate that it's a type 2 action so that there's no further seeker involved.
Normally, I believe we would.
Okay. So I don't know if you want to do that this evening or just do it on another.
Yeah,
I don't think you have.
We can do it on our next go round.
Okay.
All right. Let's look at these things and we're also
We'll reply to Bonnie's comments to our soil testing.
yeah.
And resubmit for the next meeting.
I-
Or maybe not your next meeting, but
Yeah.
the June meeting.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
That's good.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, everybody. Thanks, Ross. Yep. Okay. Let's see. Next this evening, we have Bracken Road Properties LLC, Bracken 20 Warehouses, Bracken Road, Leonard's Drive, SCU permit and site plan and 2-lot subdivision and conditional final approval. Anybody have any comment on the resolution?
No.
Okay, and before we get started, everyone got a copy of the resolution last week, and Rich and Mr. Ahern had been working on this resolution, so I'll try to be as brief as I can. Okay, Town of Montgomery Planning Board, resolution of special exception use, subdivision and site plan approval, application of Bracken Road Properties LLC for a project known as Bracken 20 Warehouses. Okay. Bracken, for the lands located at 141 Bracken Road, Section 30, Block 1, Lot 54.121. Okay. Resolved that the following findings be made. Bracken Road Properties has made application to the Planning Board of the Town of Montgomery for a special exception use permits, minor 2-lot subdivision, and for site plan approvals to construct one warehouse distribution facility with auxiliary office space plus parking pursuant to zoning law 70-10E22 on each lot. The property is a 19.485 acre vacant parcel bounded by Bracken Road to the north and Leonard's Drive to the west. The parcel is to be divided into 2 lots, 1A and 1B. Lot 1A will consist of 9.354 acres and will be developed with an 80,000 square foot warehouse. And Lot 1B will consist of 10.131 acres and be developed with a 60,000 square foot warehouse. Both parcels will also contain accessory employee parking, truck bays, loading and parking areas, and office space. The Planning Board determined that the action should be classified as a type 1 action under the State Environmental Quality Review Act and circulated a notice of intent to act as lead agency on May 13th of 2019. Thereafter, the application in a full environmental assessment form was reviewed by the Planning Board and its professional consultants and updated and amended as necessary. The application was deemed complete for purposes of commencing public review. Pursuant to notice, a public hearing before the planning board was convened at the Town Hall, 110 Bracken Road, Montgomery, New York, on the 12th day of November 2019, and continued at successive meetings until March 9th, 2020, when it was closed. At said hearings, the representative of the applicant was present, and upon the waiver of the reading of the public notice, there were submitted affidavits indicating that the necessary persons had been mailed notices of the public hearing and that the required newspaper publication and conspicuous posting of the notice had occurred timely. All attendees were provided with the opportunity to comment, and all comments have been considered by the planning board. The application was referred to the Orange County Department of Planning. The Department of Planning responded on November 1st, 2019 with a finding of local determination. The planning board has complied with the provisions of town law section 283-A by finding there are no farm operations within 500 feet of the property. During the review of this application, the plans were revised numerous times. On April 15th of 2020, a negative declaration consisting of 12 pages was adopted by the planning board and is referenced here in lieu of repeating its contents in full, unless you want me to. Resolved that the following determinations be made. Number one, an exhaustive analysis of this application was conducted pursuant to the requirements of seeker, which resulted in the issuance of a negative declaration on April 15th of 2020. Two, all of the findings and conditions specifically set forth in the negative declaration are hereby incorporated in this resolution as if more fully set forth and repeated here. A copy of the negative declaration is attached to this resolution. Three, it has been calculated that the application will result in 27 peak truck exit trips. The planning board finds this will contribute additional traffic to the intersection of New York State Route 208 and Bracken Road. The planning board finds that the applicant's proposed mitigation of traffic impacts is acceptable. The applicant has agreed to contribute the total sum of $33,750 to the town's segregated account for future improvement, signalization, and/or further studies of the Route 208 and Bracken Road intersection. The traffic mitigation fee will be divided per lot based upon the peak exit trips of the individual lot. Lot 1A will generate approximately 15 exit trips. Lot B will generate approximately 12 peak exit trips. Each payment shall be made separately and prior to the issuance of the individual building permit issued for that lot and paid by the party seeking said building permit. In the event the traffic mitigation formula shall change prior to the application of a building permit, each lot shall be individually liable for its share based upon the above number of peak trips. Number four, unless and until the intersection of 17K and Bracken Road is suitably improved, all tractor trailer traffic will use only the 208 and Bracken Road intersection. 5, should the town create a transportation improvement district or similar district or improvement area, this property shall be included in such district or area and pay its fair share of the repairs, maintenance, and improvements. 6, all sewer and non-potable water connections shall be installed pursuant to the specifications for the town of Montgomery at the sole expense of the party seeking connection. To the extent that the proposed water line connection for Lot 1A to the Leonard's Drive main is not feasible, then the property may alternatively connect to the Bracken Road water line, subject to the approval of and conditions imposed by the town engineer and superintendent of highways, including any required easements. 7, the within approvals are subject to the following additional conditions. A, all final planning board consultants' comments shall be addressed prior to the chair signing the plans, including those of the fire chief. B, any outstanding fees shall be paid prior to the signing of the plans. C, compliance with all MS4 stormwater requirements, including signing and recording a stormwater easement and maintenance agreement with the county clerk at the time of filing the plat. D, the facility shall be constructed in general accord with the design elevations, color schemes, and building exteriors submitted for the record of this application. E, per zoning law section 140-50-33D4, all landscaping shall be maintained for the life of the use. F, per zoning law sections 140, 50, 38, the site plans shall contain the required certification language, and the applicant's licensed PE shall so certify prior to the issuance of each C of O. G, Orange County Department of Health approval for each on-site well must be obtained prior to the issuance of each certificate of occupancy or C of O. Okay. Number 8, it is further determined that all of the special conditions for large warehouses have been met. 9, it is further determined that all of the general conditions for all special exception use permits per zoning law 130-40-20 all have been met. D, it is also determined, 10, it is also determined that the planning board has complied and been guided by the town subdivision regulations. Specifically, the planning board has abided by the policy found in Article 1 of the subdivision regulations and also complied with the general requirements and design standards found in Article 4 concerning the subdivision of land. 11, based upon the entire record of this proceeding, the planning board finds and determines that all of the general and special conditions for the application proposed have been or will be met, and that the special exception use permits, site plans, and subdivision approvals for the application be and hereby are granted subject to the conditions set forth, and that a copy of this resolution be filed with the town of Montgomery town clerk. Okay. And that would be dated, well, we have to make the motion first. And I'll go back to the very first paragraph, which I guess I can fill out. So any discussion on the resolution for the special exception use subdivision and site plan approval? Okay, I'd like to entertain a motion then to grant those approvals. Motion by
I'll make a motion.
Jay.
Second.
And seconded by Rich Montemorano. Okay, any discussion? Okay, then I'll ask how each member votes. Rose, how do you vote?
Aye.
John Brown?
Aye.
Ryan McGuire?
Aye.
Rich Montemorano?
Aye.
And Jay Beaumont?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. So we have 6 ayes, everybody's present, and we have 1 vacancy. So with that, that should motion carried. Okay, thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay, thank you, Walter. Okay. Next this evening, we got the February 24th Planning Board meeting minutes. Anyone have any significant substantive comments on February 24th?
I had just one minor word change.
Okay.
Page 13. About just below the middle, Mr. Walensky. We believe that our sight lines are correct and denounceable and should be demonstratable.
Okay. Correct and demonstratable. Everybody got that?
Yes.
Okay, so if there's nothing else, I'll entertain a motion to accept the February 24th, 2020 Planning Board meeting minutes. Motion by Rose, seconded by Jay. Any discussion? So, Jay, how do you vote?
Aye.
Rose?
Aye.
Ryan?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Rich?
Aye.
And Fred's an aye. Okay, so we've got 6 ayes, motion carried, and 1 vacancy. Next, we have approval of the March 9th, 2020 Planning Board meeting minutes.
Fred, I'm excused on this one. I was out of town.
Okay, thanks, Jay. Okay, did anybody have any comment on that? Any adjustments to April 15th? I had them here. What did I do with them? There they are.
It wasn't April 15th, was it, Fred? Wasn't it March 9th?
March 9th.
Oh, I'm sorry, March 9th. Thank you, John.
That's okay.
Skipping ahead here. I know that. Okay.
I had one minor change and Sue handled that and Rich caught the other change.
Okay. Okay, so I'll entertain a motion to approve those minutes. Motion,
Oh,
I'll make a motion.
motion, was that you, John?
yes, sir.
Okay, John, and Rich is a second. So let's go through. Rose, how do you vote?
Aye.
Ryan,
Aye.
Rich,
Aye.
John,
Aye.
and Fred's an aye, and with one vacancy and one absence. Okay, motion carried. Now we'll go to April 15th. Okay, anybody have anything on April 15th?
I have to abstain. I was absent.
Okay, thanks, Rich. We have enough?
Fred, Rich Hoyt.
Yes, Rich.
Yeah, page 2, I'd like to indicate this special meeting replaced the regularly scheduled meeting of April 13th, because that was the night we thought we'd have a bad storm.
Right.
And by the way, Sue has all my edits.
Okay.
Most of them were just, minor typos. But I did want to go to page 18 on Gizzarelli. Not a big deal, but we have you reading the neg deck twice. And I'm thinking one of them, I'm sure you didn't read it twice. So it was either at the very beginning or toward the end. And I'm sure Sue will delete the whatever reference is incorrect. And that's all I had.
Okay. Everybody get that?
Yes. Fred, I had minor changes that I handed off to Sue.
Okay. Thanks, Rose. So I'll entertain a motion to approve the April 15th, 2020 meeting minutes with those changes. Motion by Jay, seconded by Rose. Let's see now, who wasn't here? Rich wasn't here. Okay, so Ryan, how do you vote?
Aye.
John Brown?
Aye.
Rose?
Aye.
Jay?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. So we have 5 ayes, 1 vacancy, 1 absence. Okay, very good. Thank you, board. Okay, next we have approval of the November 25th, 2019 Planning Board meeting minutes.
I had a single word change.
Oh, we're all here. Good. Okay.
Page 10. The third paragraph down, member Montemorano. I had a concern about the humid environment. not the
Humid.
Humid. Humid, H-U-M-I-D.
Okay, everybody get that?
Yes.
Okay.
Fred,
Anything else?
I had a minor change and I gave it to Sue.
Okay, thanks, Rose. Okay. Anyone else for November 25th of 2019? So I entertain a motion to approve the minutes for that meeting.
Make a motion.
Motion by Rich, seconded by Jay. Rose, how do you vote?
Aye.
Ryan?
Aye.
John Brown?
Aye.
Rich?
Aye.
And Jay?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. So we've got 6 ayes and 1 vacancy. Thank you, board. Motion carried. Okay, now, do we have enough?
1, 2, 3. We have 4.
Okay, approval of the April 11th, 2017 Planning Board work session minutes. Okay, Anybody have any comments? You remember back that far?
I don't know whether, when you have Steve Prusky absent, do you mean tonight? Because he spoke during this meeting, so he must have been here.
I'm sorry, Rich, what was your question?
Steve Prusky is listed as being absent. I don't know whether that means he's absent tonight, but he was present at that meeting because he spoke at that meeting, page 7 and 8.
So he was present April 11th, 2017.
Yes.
Good catch. But I'm looking, what page? Page 7?
7 and 1.
No, Rich, that was his daughter.
Oh,
okay.
that's right.
Miss Prusky. Sorry.
Yeah, I think we're good.
We won't tell Rick. We won't tell Steve
Or Marie.
or Marie. Thanks, Rick. Okay. Do I have a motion to approve the April 11th of 2017 Planning Board Work Session minutes? Motion by Jay, seconded by Rich. Rose, how do you vote?
Aye.
Jay,
Aye.
Rich,
Aye.
and I'm an aye. So that's four ayes for April 11th, 2017, with really 3 vacancies then.
Fred,
Yes, Rose,
I did give Sue some minor changes.
on April 11th of 2017. Okay,
Yes.
thanks, Rose. Okay, the last set of minutes we have, and I'd like to thank Sue for all the hard work to get together because we're pretty well caught up now. The July 31st of 2017 Planning Board meeting minutes. Did anyone have any comments on that meeting? Boy,
4 of us on that one also.
yeah, just enough. We'd have to take, oh, we couldn't. Okay, I'll entertain a motion to approve those minutes by Rose, seconded by Jay. Let's see. So Rich, how do you vote?
Aye.
Rose,
Aye.
Jay,
Aye.
and I'm an aye. So that's 4. Motion carried. Okay. That takes care of all the minutes. Is there anything else anyone would like to discuss?
I would, Rich Hoyt, I'd just like to thank Sue. Over 100 pages a minute you just approved, and it's tremendous amount of work, and it was well done.
Thank you, Sue.
Thanks, Sue. And a little side note, she
Yay.
actually had one of the longer ones done, and it wouldn't save.
Oh,
no.
I mean, I write a two paragraph note to everyone, and sometimes it doesn't save, and it's like, but this was pages. God love her.
Wow.
Thank you, Sue.
You're the best, Sue.
Okay, if there's nothing else, then motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Ryan, seconded by Rose. Rich, how do you vote?
Aye.
Jay,
Aye.
Rose,
Aye.
Ryan,
Aye.
John Brown,
aye.
and I'm an aye. Okay, motion carried. All right, thank you, everybody, and we'll be in touch. Have a good evening.
Yeah, have a good night, everyone.
Safe.
Be safe,
Stay
everyone.
safe.
Yeah,
Good night.
good night.